Okay, that was Demon Slayer Season 3, Episode 4. Interesting episode. The pacing was, it feels like it's like the build-up to things getting real, you know? Even though that we have our protagonist being like, knocked out and unconscious, it feels a little odd.
Yeah. And, like, we already got these really crazy shots and scenes of, like, Nezuko, like, being electrocuted with that staff through her neck.
Yeah.
Like, we already got such epic things, and, like, Genya balancing the gun with his sword. And to feel that it's only, like, a ramp up to, like, a much bigger fight takes me back to the end of Season 2, where there were multiple moments in that kind of ending battle that felt like, oh, wait, now we're down for the count. Oh, we're back up again. Oh, now we're down. Oh, we're back up again.
Yeah.
Because all of these things were happening and people were healing themselves or protecting themselves. They were pushing past their limits. That the viewer was like, oh, well, now they're like majorly injured or majorly poisoned. How are they going to continue to fight? And then they just go past their limit even more. And we're just getting that at the beginning of this season.
Yeah. Okay, so where we're at, I feel like, in comparison to last season, we're right before where Tanjiro and Daki first, like, meet up to face off. Like, they haven't started fighting yet in terms of where we are this season in the fight, I don't think.
See, I was gonna say, when you said that, I like what you said, but then when you first said it, my mind went to when Tanjiro first is unable to fight, and so Nezuko steps in, and then Nezuko has to be put to sleep with the lullaby.
Yeah.
I was thinking around there, or maybe even around when we're, like, right after we found out that Gyutaru was inside Daki.
Yeah.
I don't know.
See, the animation hasn't gotten, like, batshit crazy yet. That's how I know we're not there yet. Because at that point last season, we had already got, like, when Tanjiro last season just stopped breathing for a second and then, like, grabbed Daki's leg in midair and they had that whole interaction. Like, I thought that was the highlight of last season, and it wasn't. But we have not gotten to that part of this season yet, I feel like. We're taking steps.
We're in that same momentum, though, which is so exhilarating because we had that momentum at the end of Season 2. The battle that basically took up the entire season almost, except for, like, putting the pieces into place. And this, like, just this build up is so exhilarating to see happen, where it's like that kind of ebb and flow of emotions, like, oh, we got it, we just did something awesome, oh no, we just got hurt. And it's like, oh, it tugs at you and it gives you chills and it makes you also a little nauseated.
We got a little bit of everybody this episode, you know? We kept going in and out of different scenes. I love the fact that Tokito, you know, is going out of his way to help Kotetsu and the rest of the village. It's weird because on one hand, I'm like, I love you and that you're making this decision to help somebody like Kotetsu and then taking what Kotetsu says to heart and want to help everybody else, right? You want to help Haganeska so that he can finish the sword. But his idea of wanting to get to the village as soon as possible to protect it is also, like, something that needs to be done as well.
Yeah, it's not like he has some selfish goal. As we had the inner monologue of him running before he saved Kotetsu last episode, and in that inner monologue, he was like, well, there's a bunch of people to save in the village. That's just one person over there. And it's not, like, truly bad of him to, like, be thinking about casualties and, like, how to save the most people possible and what is his job is saving the village of all of these people who create swords to kill demons.
Yeah.
And so, like, it wasn't bad, but there was just something that, like, reached into his heart, which is really great because we got a recap of that same monologue scene, but without the inner monologue at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah.
And only just what Tanjiro said to him.
Yeah. I wonder what that's going to lead to in terms of the season. Do you think that Tokito is going to regain his apparent memories that he has lost throughout the rest of the season?
I think that we could have definitely had the foreshadowing of that in this episode with kind of what the master says to him in that flashback of it's going to take something insignificant, but suddenly the mist will start to clear within his head.
Yeah.
Which is, like, beautiful language to use.
Especially
I love
for
that.
what Hashira he is.
I know.
Yeah.
I loved that. Maybe he even became the Mist Hashira because of that.
I'm trying to, like, imagine and put the pieces together of what happened with him before we, like, are told, right? it could be a similar situation to Tanjiro. Like, imagine if Tanjiro was at the house and he was on the verge of death, but barely didn't die, and then was taken to the master's place, and then lost his memory, you know?
You have to be welcomed into this world in some way, either by surviving a demon attack or being from a family of demon slayers.
I wonder what the reason for Tokito's, like, I guess fight is right now, because before this episode I just kind of assumed we hadn't known what his purpose was for fighting the demons, and I was putting that in my head together, like, okay, do you have like a vendetta against them, what, but now him not having the memory, I wonder if he's doing this as sort of like paying back the master for taking care of him and saving him, and you know.
I can't remember what the line was, but he did say something along those lines, I believe, of definitely wanting to thank the master because the master believed in him.
I think he said that he'd be able to do it because the master
believed in him, which I think could lend itself to the idea that he does this because this is the person that saved him and gave him this title, made him a Hashira, and gave him this almost second chance at life.
Yeah, because I'm a demon slayer who's been recognized by the master, the Mist Hashira, Muichiro Tokito. I wonder if that's actually his name or not. You know, if he doesn't even have memory.
But that really is his elevator pitch there. Like, that is how he views himself.
So I want
what's important to him.
I'm so interested in his character because it's like, okay, if you don't have, why are you able to get this strong this quick? Is it because you're a complete blank slate who doesn't have any memory? Has the master trained you? Who trained you? If that's where you woke up at, have you received like the best training possible? Or is it just inherent within your blood and your ancestry that you're just destined to be so cool?
There's something about what you just said about, like, is it because he's a blank slate? Which I kind of like the idea of that, like, being what lends itself to his ability to succeed so young at being a demon slayer and being so strong and becoming a Hashira. There's a possibility of, like, he has more like living with abandon. He doesn't have any ties to this world or this life or connection other than this duty that could make him kind of jump head first into action. He probably has a clear head because of the fact that he's not thinking about a tons of other things and have all these other memories.
Yeah.
And I think that actually makes me think of something that happened to Tanjiro later in the episode that I was really impressed by. Tanjiro, when he sees Nezuko with that staff in his neck, Tanjiro season 1 wouldn't have thought about a plan. He would have just jumped towards Nezuko in order to save her. But Tanjiro now thought about cutting off that demon's foot in order to get close to Nezuko and even actually use it to help her. That there's like this level of, once he almost was able to clear his head of the like danger signs of, oh my god, my sister's in trouble, and really like think about, okay, how can I actually do this without being stupid?
I'm gonna argue there because I think that is inherently Tanjiro, and he's always been that way. Do you remember in season 1, one of Tanjiro's first like action sequences was versus Gyu, and even in the heat of the moment with no training, wanting to protect his sister, he had the thought ahead to throw an axe or whatever it was above to try to cause a distraction at his own body's risk in order to save Nezuko there still.
But like, that's at his own body's risk.
I know, but still, like, he's able to make these decisions in like, and what was the word that the demon used? His intuition? Like, his intuition is so strong and he's so confident with his intuition. He doesn't know for certain that this is going to work at all. It's an idea that he's not even like giving himself a chance to think about. He's like, okay, well, I'm just going to do whatever my mind is telling me and think about it later.
I guess that could be a connection, though, to how Tokito's probably acting.
Yeah.
Is that he doesn't have all of these connections, memories, and thoughts that are clouding his mind. All that he has there is his mission and what's in front of him and the best course of action to do that.
Yeah. I really enjoyed Tanjiro's like idea, I guess, to drive this demon back to the fight sequence between Genya and Nezuko. I liked the fight between Genya and his demon. I just want to know more about him. So it seems like under training from the Hashira who often prays. I don't know if that's what is giving him this extra ability
like a
to him.
Meditative, like maybe it's like it could also be almost a connection between the three of them of what we're talking about clearing your mind and like focusing, almost a meditative state.
So in Mugen Train, when Rengoku was like giving us the explanation of Tanjiro needing to like focus on his breathing techniques to basically slow down the blood loss and try to like close off veins and heal himself, basically. I wonder if Genya's version of prayer or meditation is an advanced version of that. But at the same time, I almost feel like it isn't because of regrowing a tooth. That seems a little more crazy to me.
See, yeah, he regrew it, or there's just a really great, like, dentist in this village.
Nichiring tooth,
Nichiring tooth.
Yeah, I like it. His gun is so cool, man.
I know.
I love seeing it like dual wielded with the sword.
It's kind of crazy in a way.
I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that.
I would have never. I mean, we were shocked when we first saw it, like in the opening before really getting into the season, and I'm still kind of shocked by it because it's not anything that I would have expected. And oh god, I kind of want to see it more.
So Gyoko was the one who found the village, right?
Yeah.
I'm no longer surprised if he is able to utilize hundreds of terrifying fish dogs. Yeah. I wonder if he's able to like make these out of nothing, if he's able to take fish in a river somewhere, put a little pot on them, and then he's able to like control them in any way that they want. Like it seems like that's the beacon of their control, right? Mm-hmm. The pot on top of their head.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Why fish?
There could be a river nearby.
Yeah, but what if the fish is like important to his backstory?
Maybe. I don't know. It's interesting that we're fighting more of Hantengu than Gyoko right now, right?
Yeah, I think that is really interesting. The main body hasn't even been in the battle this whole time, which is interesting to me now even more because when we're fighting the fish with Kotetsu brings up Haganeska and the sword, and it does make me wonder, well, we haven't been seeing Gyoko's main body. Maybe it's because his main body isn't what's strong, and his main body might actually be relatively weak now that he's created all of these fish. But it could be that Gyoko has a separate kind of mission and is using the fish in order to destroy the village, but maybe his main body is
going after the sword
or something else in the village.
That could be cool.
Their secret that they're hiding there.
Yeah. I feel like in order to beat Hantengu, it's inevitable that since Tanjiro like commented on once you break it down into 4 and then break that one subsection off again, things get weaker and weaker. I think that Hantengu's final form then would be himself all pulled together and like in its own like perfect mode. I don't see him being defeated in separate, bodies. I think that before that would happen, he'd come back together as one again. That's a Dragon Ball inspired thought.
I like that, but I'm also like Hantengu when he's all together is this like really creepy whimpering thing that I despise. But also seems like it doesn't really want to fight, and so it splits in order to fight.
But the one who was fighting Genya like had this sense of mercy by him too. Like I wanted to kill him quickly.
I wrote it down.
That was so interesting.
How sad it is to not be able to die instantly, and the demon purposefully went for a spot on Genya that should have been vital, and for the kind of reason of wanting the death to be instantaneous and not because gotta kill him where it hurts the most. Like, no, it's like you don't want them suffering, and then that's very interesting.
Yeah.
To have a demon be thinking about, even if it's a part of the demon, to have them be thinking about a human's suffering and like not wanting them to. Yeah.
I don't know if this term was correct, but one of the demons said it in regards to Genya's prayer, the Amida Sutra. I don't know if that's correct or if that's what we should be calling his recuperation, meditation. I don't know what it is. One of my favorite scenes this episode in reference to Genya though was when we had a camera or like we were shown to the right side of him and then he just like pulls his sword right into the camera and just stops it there. Like the fictional camera, right?
The fictional. There was some very cool creative things happening. I mean, I'm going to say it again. Probably. What that was, honestly, the fan was up there in my top like 3. The fan and then the imprint, obviously, on the ground of where the pressure from the wind. Amazing. I also, I've said this one before, Nezuko being electrocuted. There's something about that whole shot, especially initially when it happens, that was so cool and horrifying to look at.
Demon Slayer has like a no fear policy when it comes to CG. Like I think that whereas other animation studios, like the second that they realize that they're not going to be able to use 2D, they are scrambling and kind of upset and trying to make the most out of it.
They're kind of upset.
Where Demon Slayer, I think, like, is like, oh, you know what would make this look cooler or, like, have a different dimension to it? CG. Like, let's just fucking, like blow it up.
Embrace it.
And they... Like, it's great with how they do
Have
it, too.
Have fun with it. Don't be moody about it.
It's nice because they use it in foreground and background regardless of...
Scene.
They use it in foreground and background regardless of the 2D animation. So it, like, lends itself really well to the environment. But my favorite moment during the whole electrocution bit was when Nezuko used this demon's fan on himself to blow him away. That was so neat, man. So cool.
Nezuko is awesome and badass, and there's also like thought, like to have Nezuko not only fighting using blood demon art, but to be using this demon's own weapon against them.
Yeah. It's always a treat to see Nezuko fight.
She's so smart.
Yeah. I wonder if the staff has any like meaning or any like if that's the way that we have to defeat the demon.
All I know is I like the staff. And I like
cool.
the addition of the electricity because I think that, like, in terms of visual effect, it is beautiful having the color pops.
Yeah. I am excited for the rest of the season.
I am too.
I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm like a little bit just waiting for it to get there. Like, if that makes sense. Like, I'm like, okay, I've watched Demon Slayer.
Is it like you're on a roller coaster?
It's like I'm waiting to get to the top and then like here for the ride. Well, even this episode a little bit. I felt like things were still like, even though a fuck ton of action was going on, I felt like pieces were still being moved to like the actual final set piece or like a set piece. We're only 4 episodes in. I mean, you know, we're barely into the season and things are already going off the rails.
I mean, like all episode, I think I said like 5 times Mitsuri, you know, every time that we kind of pulled away to a different scene more in the forest. I thought it was going to be her running back. Then at the end we get her. And so you're right, like Tanjiro had been away from the village and now he's been brought back. Tokito's running back toward the village. Mitsuri's running back toward the village, you know? So we have everyone kind of coming into place into the village.
How am I supposed to think that this is like going to be like, I know things have yet to come because Nezuko's muzzle is unbroken. Like, shit gets real once that muzzle is cracked. You know?
It's like a comfort thing.
Yeah, but I'm enjoying it. I'm excited. This feels like one of the episodes that I'd be like, okay, give me the next one. Like, if it was available.
I literally went like this to the table when it was over because it was just so frustrating. This was an episode that I instantly wanted the next episode.
All right, that's all I have you.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.
That kind of ebb and flow of emotions, like that kind of ebb and flow of emotions, like that kind of ebb and flow of emotions, like
that kind of ebb and flow of emotions, like